PACES scenarios, they'll give you the sessions. So neurology come as a part of clinical examination where you don't have the chance to. So among all the sessions, in neurology particular session, you have to examine the patient, either upper limb or lower limb or cranial nerve, and then come to a diagnosis. The diagnosis will start your provisional diagnosis. They'll ask you the differentials. Then basically they'll lead you from differential. Then they start again the provisional diagnosis, differential diagnosis, how to approach, what are the different tests to be done. There is a question and answer part. But first of all, for any examination, whether it's respiratory, cardiology, neurology, abdominal, where you start in a very systematic way. So all the systematic way are in different videos in YouTube or PACES, whatever the course you take. So here we'll focus on the key clinical concept, like you approach the patient, you give your introduction, you do wash your hands. First of all, before examining any patient, you ask whether the patient has any pain or tenderness in any patient. At any point, if you inflict pain, this is your fail.
If you examine anything where you do not expose that part of the body without disturbing the dignity, it's a sure fail. So these things you have to take care of. And then you have to finish the examination, especially the neurological, which is a huge one, within that stipulated 6 minutes. You cannot miss anything. So it's more about practice, what you do, upper limb, lower limb, optic nerves, all the cranial nerves, because they will come in cranial nerves or upper limb or lower limb in a systematic way. So how to approach? So it will come like this. Hello, I am doctor this, one of the doctors in this ward. I am going to examine you. Is it okay? Take the consent first. Can I examine you? I am this and this. So look how the patient is positioned. Patient may be sitting, patient may be sitting upright, patient may be lying down, and then specifically say what you are going to examine. I am going to examine your hands, not upper limbs, hands or legs, or how you are doing on your face wise. So it will go like that. Then general look wise you say, see whether any wasting, any tremor, any volunteer you can. So first you approach the patient, then if you go for upper limb, you expose the upper limb, and then see any wasting in all thenar, hypothenar eminences, and then you see any tremor. Ask them to stretch the hands and see for your tremor. Then you see also in the inspection part, look any question mark finding or any stiffness in the neck, which will go in favor of like Parkinson's disease or ankylosing spondylitis kind of thing. So in inspection, these things goes, or any wasting in the temporal region and all, that will go in favor of inspection. Okay. If you have time to examine, that is not part of particularly neurological examination. If they said, you can go for seeing all those anemia, jaundice, clubbing and thing, but in proper, if they say upper limb neurological examination, you cannot miss out these things: wasting, tremor and neck. So in a system you can measure how is the posture of the patient, whether lying down but neck stiff, massing, wasting, any fasciculation, any tremor or chorea involuntary movements, any skin changes, any scar in the back. If you see the neck is stiff, you look at the back, any surgical scar is there, or any claw hands. Okay. Then again, after inspection, it is tone. So first you cannot inspect the tone, you have to check upper body and lower body, any volunteer. First of all, then you examine both the side. Always do not forget to see that you have examined the right side, not examine the left side. Always see both the sides. So you, and when you are examining the tone and all, make the patient, I am just keeping you upright, okay? Okay. So make the patient upright when you are examining the tone. So like this, you have to practice this like this. If there is Parkinsonism and something, of course the patient will be much more rigid, and if there is tremor attached, that is the both the side. Okay. And similarly for the lower limbs also, when you are seeing, you see the tone, expose and see the tone, and during lower limbs also you see for the clonus. Okay, that is, if the tone is high, you will see the clonus. Okay. Okay. Then system wise comes the power. When you examining the power, you start from the top. Upper limb, you check for the deltoid. Can you sit down? Can you lift your shoulder? So you will shrug the shoulder. You check the power. Then you check for the biceps. Check in both hands simultaneously so that you can assess the discrepancy. এটাকে ইয়ে করুন, আমার দিকে হাত দুটোকে ঠেলুন, push my hands like this, push my hands like this, আমার হাতগুলোকে ঠেলুন, আমি যখন দেবো হাতগুলোকে ঠেলুন, push hands. Okay. Then also এবার আমি যেখানে হাত রাখবো আমার হাতটাকে মুঠো করুন. Okay, this is for the wrist extension and wrist flexion. আমার হাতটাকে ছেড়ুন, and this hand also. Always compare with the other hand. Push my hands and push my hands this way. No, আমাকে হাতটাকে ঠেলুন, আমার হাতটাকে ঠেলুন, হ্যাঁ, হাতটাকে এটাকে রাখুন, এটাকে ঠেলুন, হ্যাঁ, wrist দিয়ে, হ্যাঁ, ঠিক. So always examine from the deltoid, biceps, triceps and wrist extension flexion and compare bilaterally. And if it is in the lower limb, also do it like that only, like hamstring, quadriceps, knee flexion extension, and also the ankle one. For that, আমার হাতটাকে উপরে ঠেলুন, পা দিয়ে, বাঁ পা, ওকে, দুটোকে একসঙ্গে করবেন যদি সম্ভব হয়. ওকে, পাটাকে ভাঁজ করুন, আমার হাতটাকে ঠেলুন, ওকে, এই পাটা ভাঁজ করুন, আমার হাতটাকে ঠেলুন, ওকে, নিচে রাখুন, এবার আমার হাতটাকে ঠেলুন, নিচের দিকে ঠেলুন, push my hand, okay, and also then push my hand, ওপর দিকে ঠেলুন. So from lower limb you also examine like this, compare bilaterally, upper limb also. This is for the power. Then of course for the reflexes, I know everybody is examining how to do reflexes. Take a hammer, start from the C5, C6. The hammer, do you have a hammer here? Never tap on the tendon directly. Try to put your fingers there and do it. Relax, huh? Relax. Huh? Like this, also like this. And of course always bilaterally. Okay, and similarly in the lower limb, you have to actually during the examination you have to remember what are the dermatomes there or the neurological supply there, and then come to your diagnosis what is happening. But most importantly, in 6 minutes time you have to complete your neurological examination within 6 minutes. So there is practice only. Then comes the coordination. So tone, power, reflexes, coordination, all in systematic way. So in the upper limb coordination you do the finger nose test and the change of hands in clasping. Okay, একটা আঙুল এরকম করুন, আপনার নাকে ঠেকান, আমার এখানে ঠেকান, নাকে এটা না, একদম টিপটা এখানে ঠেকাবেন. So explain the patient what you want to do, এরকম ভাবে, এরকম ভাবে, এরকম. ওকে, একটু তাড়াতাড়ি করুন, ডু ইট ফাস্ট, মেক ইট মোর ডিফিকাল্ট ফর হিম. ওকে, এবার অন্য হাতে করুন. ওকে, দেন হোয়াট টু ডু, ইউ পুট ওয়ান হ্যান্ড লাইক দিস, put another hand like this and change the side as quickly as you can. Okay, then the other hand, not like this, keep your one hand still, then do it like this. Okay, then keep the one hand like this and then change the hand. Okay, and you can always compare with your side whether he is fast or slow or matching this side. Okay. Okay, fine. And in the lower limb also coordination, it is a heel shin test. So আপনার পায়ের গোড়ালিটা উপরে নিয়ে আসুন, এই হাঁটু থেকে নামান, এই শিন বরাবর নিচে যান, ঠিক আছে? And ideally it should be exposed only, then only you can see. আপনার পাটা একটু তুলে দিচ্ছি, জামা, হ্যাঁ, গোড়ালিটা হাঁটুতে ঠেকান and সোজা নিয়ে চলুন। So if you are finding any incoordination here and you want to go for differentiating between sensory versus cerebral ataxia, you have to ask the patient to stand out, right? So in that case you have to ask the patient whether he can stand at all or not. It may be too much wasting, patient cannot stand. So always, whatever you examine, take always the patient's permission at the end and then examine the patient. Then comes the sensory examination. Sensory has one light touch, one crude touch with the blunt end of the pin. So you take a cotton, put it here, putting on the sternum, and then ask whether he is feeling both same side in the same manner. Ask to close the eyes and then examine this. And remember the dermatomes. If you find any dummy, I am unlikely to get any examination finding. But a patient, you ask for a cotton with the cotton touch up. Then take the blunt end of a pin and do also the other sensation test, and then comes your this thing, proprioception. This is also must for the posterior cause, long cause, the joint and position sense. So if you find any abnormality distally, you don't have to go upwards. So just see whether আপনার চোখটা বন্ধ করুন, এবার মনে করুন এটা হচ্ছে নিচে, এটা হচ্ছে উপরে, আর এটা নিউট্রাল। তো বলতে হবে আমি আঙুলটাকে নিচে নামালাম না উপরে করলাম। Okay, so okay, so if you find it's normal, you don't have to go up. If it's abnormal, then you have to go up and see till which joint he is having the sensation. That is the position sense. Okay, then you have to come to your differential diagnosis. So tone, power, reflexes, coordination, sensation. Tone, power, reflexes, coordination, sensation. You have to just remember in 6 minutes you have to finish all this upper limb and lower limb, everything. Then you have to come to your differentials, what is happening, like whether the patient have a upper motor neurons, more spasticity tremor goes in favor of Parkinson's disease, whether the patient have a patchy and waxing waning course like multiple sclerosis, or patient have a unilateral weakness, then it comes as a structural disorder like a stroke. Whether it's a short history or long history, that may be given in the history or maybe in the long question examination. Of course, in the lower motor peripheral neuropathy like Guillain-Barré syndrome and all, you'll give either a motor or a combined motor sensory. It's a long term, there'll be wasting and all. And if radiculopathy and mononeuropathy unlikely to give in the exam, but of course Guillain-Barré, multiple sclerosis and cerebral ataxia is very common, high yield questions. Other than that, other common is the myasthenia gravis. Of course, for that you have to do the rapid functioning of this finger test or maybe some eye drooping, usually that. And in multiple, and this myasthenia gravis is a pure neuromuscular junction problem, so there will be any neuro deficit in the sensory pathway. Myopathy can come, but polymyositis, dermatomyositis will come in other eye signs and all. That's very obvious, you cannot miss it, but very rare to come in the exam. Neuromuscular junctions I have already discussed. So if your diagnosis is myasthenia gravis, the question will lead towards, of course, the other differential, which is more a theoretical question answer viva type question. And in cerebellar versus sensory ataxia, you have to ask the patient to stand out, ask the patient to close the eyes and see whether it's in sensory loss the ataxia is increasing or it is the same, to differentiate between the cerebellar versus sensory ataxia. And in Parkinson's disease, which is very common because these are very stable patients to come in the examination, they will not give very sick patient, right? So of course the posture of the patient in the neck, the resting tremor, the rigidity, bradykinesia, if you ask the patient to walk for a bit and then turn around, it will be a slow movement disorder, which is very ideal question for the exam. Multiple sclerosis also, because they usually can come in more clinical scenario in terms of eye symptoms. The eye movement disorders because of the cranial nerve palsy, so otherwise the patient is stable, but having features in the eye which may be relapsing, remitting, and with other symptoms also can come in the exam. So in that case you have to do the cranial nerve examination with the patient and see any problem with the eye movements. Okay. This already I have discussed. So any other question you have, I can answer right now. Spinal reflex is a tone, power, reflexes, coordination, sensation, and then joint and position sense. These things with the Dharma terms you have to finish in 6 minutes. That is the first step. Without disturbing patient's dignity, exposing each and every part you are examining, and then come to a differential diagnosis, and then guide the examiner in a way that how you made the diagnosis without any investigation, because only you are doing the clinical examination, and they will guide you that which other test you want to. Suppose myasthenia gravis, so how to differentiate from Lambert-Eaton. If you are suspecting the Guillain syndrome, so what is the next step you will do for confirming your diagnosis? They will lead you to the diagnosis. Then if you are too good, it will come in the management part. But the basic thing is that tone, power, reflexes, coordination, sensation must finish without missing. Suppose right side, left side, each of the component parts, like examining the proximal part, examining the distal part, not missing the clonus during checking of the tones, not missing the tremor during examination of the upper limb for a Parkinson's patients, and also the posture. And do not say anything you have not found. Do not make up the clinical diagnosis. Suppose there is a scar mark or posture there is not there, but to make your diagnosis you cannot assume that finding was there. You have to examine that and make it true that your examination finding is true. That is the most important. Okay?
Is it mandatory to expose the thigh as well, or is up to the knee?
You always ask for the permission. In the exam hall, the examiner will come and block you that you do not need to do that, but you have to ask that I have to see, because you can miss a wasting important finding there, right? Or maybe a scar mark, or maybe like they will not ask you to see the abdomen, but ideally in a diabetic scenario you can see the insulin scar mark. That can also happen in other procedures, but if it is not there, that you can ask whether I can expose.
That's the best. So when we are looking at the sensory level, suppose there is a sensory level at the level of umbilicus, so can we go up to the abdomen?
You can ask, like if you are suspecting multiple sclerosis in a cranial nerve examination, and you can ask to confirm my diagnosis, I have to go for upper limb and lower limb examination and then confirm my diagnosis. If the examination is only cranial nerve, they will not ask you to do, or they will block you that you do not need to, because this is this scenario, you can approach in other way. So they will block you, but you have to ask. Like
myelopathy case, for example, so if I am looking at the sensory level, then we usually start at the distal and we move up. So
yes.
Suppose if the level comes at the level of the umbilicus, so are we allowed to go up to the abdomen?
You can
stop at the lower limb?
Ideally in the lower limb you should not go there, because if it is a purely they have asked for you to lower limb, you stick to lower limb only. Then they will guide you to make your diagnosis. Then you can ask, I should have checked this and confirm my diagnosis. So it should be like that, because a patient may have upper limb finding, lower limb finding. You have been asked to look at the upper limb only, but patient have finding in the lower limb. If that is not in inspection, then that is not there. But if you have been asked to only see the upper limb, you stick to that only. Then you can ask, I should have checked this and this is my finding.